Well, the idea to make a movie about Jerusalem in the IMAX format came from my fellow producer, Taryn Davis, who came to me in 2008 and said, what about doing a movie about the three Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, in Jerusalem?
Why Jerusalem? Why are we here? Why are we making this story? Jerusalem is historically the center of the world. Some describe the Bible as the book of Jerusalem. The history of Jerusalem is really the history of the world. It's a tiny city that's sacred to over half of the world's population.
We had done a film together on Mecca, actually on the pilgrimage, and Jerusalem seemed like a natural topic. It had never been done in the IMAX format, and for me it was absolutely intriguing. Somewhat terrifying though, because you're trying to fit 5,000 years of history into 45 minutes, and to do it in a novel way. We've seen a lot of documentaries made about Jerusalem, and the key for me was to do it in a way that felt fresh and that you hadn't necessarily seen before, and it might change your opinion about this place. We hear a lot about Jerusalem, certainly in the news and the newspaper, and I think that this film, the purpose of it really was to get people to experience Jerusalem for themselves. And that's what IMAX does so well. In this case, it's at the Ontario Science Centre. It's under a huge dome. You really feel like you're flying over the city. You're taking a tour through the Holy Land. And I think a lot of people want to do that, and yet they are concerned, whether it's for security reasons or it's expensive to go there. And this is an opportunity to see a place that I think everyone is curious about for themselves.
For a science center, it's important to understand that scientific ideas also develop from cultural backdrops. So we feel really privileged to have a film that discusses these ways of thinking, and that will allow people to have dialogue together.
We have three girls, a Jewish girl, Christian girl, and a Muslim girl, and they tell their attachment to Jerusalem. And this is so important to us, because one of the pitfalls to avoid in making a film about Jerusalem is saying that there's a definitive version of Jerusalem, there's a truth to Jerusalem. There isn't a single version, there are competing narratives or parallel narratives.
The idea to cast young people in the film, and these are three young girls aged 15 to 18, each representing a different faith and a different culture. That idea came to us through one of our advisors, the president of Al-Quds University in Jerusalem. His name is Sari Nusseibeh, who said, what about young people? And it's perfect because here we are at the Science Center where the audience is largely families, teenagers, and I think that's ultimately the generation that is going to affect change and promote dialogue in a new way. I think so often in the media we see portraits of Israelis or Palestinians that are politicians or soldiers or protesters and so forth. And I think that the dialogue is often framed in a political context about the conflict, and that's always there. But we wanted to reset it within a social context. What is it like to live in the city? And to invite normal or typical people, in this case young women. You know, we don't really hear from women about Jerusalem. We see images of men. It tends to be a very patriarchal society. It's very austere. You know, we see images of bearded men, priests, rabbis, monks, imams, and so forth. And so the opportunity to have three young women share their perspective and their love for the city is something that I think gives the film a freshness and hopefully, a new perspective on a subject that we think we know.
My name is Nadia Tadros. I'm from the movie Jerusalem 3D, and I'm Christian. I'm talking about the Christian culture in the movie. Our culture, you know, it's very complicated, and we have a variety of people inside the old city of Jerusalem, and this means that we are not normal or casual Christians. We live in a society where we have to meet many cultures, and this means that we are very flexible and open-minded, and we have to be. And in our lives, we learn a lot about Muslims, and we live with them, we talk with them, we see them now in recent society, and we talk with Jews, we try to figure out how they live, which is very strange. And you know, not everybody knows this about the old city, but the old city is a very small place. It's it's as the size as the biggest mall in Canada. It's not that big, and it has about a million culture, a million kinds of people, and everybody is different, and we try to mix up together to make a good future together, and I hope one day we can talk with each other without noticing the differences between us, but making a very beautiful mix together.
My name is Lavital, and I'm from Jerusalem, from the movie also. So actually, Judaism is very special because there are two important values that sometimes are in a conflict and sometimes they're getting along together. The first one is observant and tradition, which is very important, and the other one is development. And this is something that kept the Jewish people for the whole history. And what's beautiful is that you can see also the same thing in Jerusalem. You've got the old city that we saw very well in the movie, and also the modern side of the city, which is about developing the culture, the people, and this is very special, I think.
Culture in Jerusalem is very diverse, and since I'm a Muslim, my culture is integrated with my religion. And like one of the most interesting things to know about us Palestinians is that we're very, very welcoming. And from the first day you walk in, you'll see many people feeding you, and you have to accept the food and the hospitality that they give you, and you will feel very welcome. And of course, Muslim tradition is very, very rich, and there are many historical sites in the old city that are related to the Muslims in general.
The message of the film to the world is to think about Jerusalem in a new way. And I think that oftentimes we see Jerusalem through a very political lens. You know, we see conflict, and our image of Jerusalem is a place where nothing can be resolved, and the positions of the various sides are intractable. And what we wanted to do was take you, the audience, inside the city in a way that you could never get if you were going there as a tourist, and to ultimately change the way you think about this very important part of the world and its role on your culture and on your life.
Jerusalem is a very exciting city. Actually, if you're coming there for the first time, you will never know where to start from. We have 7 doors to Jerusalem, and if I may suggest something, a person who wants to go to Jerusalem, don't hold your map. Only last year, I discovered 3 new places. I discovered a well that used to belong to people who built the Holy Sepulchre. It's not belonging to them, but they used to drink from it, and it was fresh water. And it's a well that nobody knows about in Jerusalem except for people who like to explore a lot. There's also, what's most shocking for me, one day I was lost in the city, and somebody took me and helped me to go to my destination, and he took me, like this priest took me to a city inside the city of Jerusalem. It was a small city that nobody ever heard about, and this is amazing. It's a city that you can find a variety of things inside, as I said earlier, and this is my favorite place. It's the whole thing together.
Place that I would like people to come and see is Shuk Machne Yehuda. A shuk means a market, but it's a very big and colorful market, and if you come on Friday morning, you'll see it's full of people from all kinds, from Arabia and Syria and France and the United States, really from every place in the world. And this is Jewish Jerusalem. This is the people that understood that Israel is our homeland, and they all came back to this place. And this is a symbol of Jerusalem for me.
Jerusalem is filled with places you should visit. I think it's not about one place, because you won't be able to visit all parts of Jerusalem in one day. You will need many days in order to explore it, and to it's overwhelming for the person to go there from the first day. And I believe there are many sites you have to visit for all faiths. And even if you do not have a faith, you will find that the spirituality it holds is very amazing. And the people there are very welcoming. And you'll have so much fun in Jerusalem.